Let's wait for 2 minutes and then we can start at 10:05. I'll put a message in the chat as well. Okay, let's start. Let me admit people are still. Mhm. Ritesh, I'm muting you. Okay, cool. So yeah, did you try out day one and day two assignment? Any specific problems you ran into? We can discuss quickly for 5 minutes. Both day one and day two. Anything? No one? Or did you not try the assignment? Okay. Cool, then we can start if there are no questions. So you are planning to do. Uh, cool. Yeah, yeah. So it's cool if you are just following along and building the vehicle management app first, and then you can go to build the main assignment app. That also works. Cool. So, Nikhil, you can admit people. I have made you the host. Till then, what I
Uh, yeah, I don't think anyone's waiting, right? I don't see anything.
yeah, that's fine then.
Yeah.
Okay. Just keep an eye on the
Yeah.
chat. Cool. Yeah, so I will start with a small topic and then I will hand over to Nikhil for the two big topics, the major ones that are remaining. First is customization through hooks.py file. And okay, why is it showing? Second is reports, right? So let me just start by sharing my screen. Hmm. Yeah, my screen is visible. Mhm. We have I dot caps 48,000. Yeah, so we'll start with a small no code feature. So if you recall last time, we created two doc types, right? One was this, actually we created three if you count the child table, but majorly two doc types. One was the write booking and second was write on invoice. So write booking was the booking we were collecting through web form, right? And Irfan was able to either come here and accept or reject, and then on accept he would create an invoice, right? So then write invoice, which was again a submittable doc type. We also learned about submittable doc type, and he could set the naming series. He could uh, set the booking, and then this all was fetched automatically. He could select assign the driver, and then we also did some magic to get this working automatically, right? So if you change this to 20, this automatically got updated 30, right? So in the script side as well as in the backend. So both we did, right? So you can check the recordings if you want to revise. But one thing, like we use the web form feature, if you recall, right? Web form to collect or book a ride. So how will Irfan know that a new ride came in, right? He has to sit whole day and look at this list view, right? And refresh that, okay, oh, new booking came in, right? That's not good. That's not the right way to do it. So he came to us and he said, I can't do this all day. Uh, Either I have to hire a person to sit and look at this list. Even then, it's not fair to the person. So what we have to do is get a notification, right? As soon as the booking comes in, either send me an email, send me or like whoever is the manager, send them an email that, okay, new booking came in, this is the customer, click here to view and proceed, right? So they can see this. So what we will do is we have a notification feature in Playbook, notification list. And this is a no code feature. You don't have to write any code for this. Let's add a notification and you can give it a name. Let's call it a new booking notification and enable disable. Then we have channels, right? What is the channel that you want to use to send this notification? So Slack is available, SMS is available. This both need additional configuration. So Slack you have to put in your keys, etc. Same for SMS, you have to connect a um, SMS provider using that talks using HTTP. So that is also there. So SMS settings is a doc type, you can fill it in. But simplest is system notification. It doesn't require any setup because it just will show in the notification bar. But that doesn't solve our problem because he doesn't can't sit whole day in here, right? So email. we'll do email. And then you can give the subject of the email, even dynamic Jinja. That's why Nikhil said, right? Like he was showing you Jinja. Jinja is very like everywhere in Frappe. You will find wherever dynamic stuff is there, there is Jinja. So I will say, um, so before subject, we can say new booking. Okay, wait. New booking arrived from, and then we want the customer name. So first we have to select, right, on what doc type you are applying this notification. So in this case, this will be right booking. And then it will say when, right? Send alert on. Can you see this field? So if I see this, you can say new, which means whenever a new ride booking is created, send this notification, right? Next is submit. So we saw submittable doc types, right? Whenever a new, let's say, invoice, whenever ride invoice is submitted, then send an invoice, right? And when we did booking, right? So the doc that this variable will refer to is the particular booking that got created. So if you check, let's check, let's duplicate this tab and go to a ride booking and let's see what data is available. We have the customer name and the vehicle, right? So if we could show this in the subject, it will be more useful. So we'll say new booking arrived from doc dot customer name for doc dot vehicle. So when they get the email, in the subject of the email, they will see new booking arrived from and the customer name. Say, for example, this was the new that got created from Jenny Oliver for BMW so and so. Clear? So this is the dynamic part of it. And then you can select the sender optional. Like if you have multiple outgoing accounts set up in your Frappe system, then uh, we can enable this as well. So it shows in the nav bar as well. Here notification part. Uh, you can even write some conditions here, right? So if the status is new, then only send the notification. So additional Python expressions you can write here. So I'll do new. And since this is already new, we don't need this condition. This is redundant because the default condition is new. So we can remove this. Is standard, we'll come back to this, but let's say recipients. This is the main thing because you here you configured what is the subject, when to send, and then you can send who to send to, right? So let's say I want to send to all system manager, right? And you can even give condition more Python expression here, right? Condition is also expression. Say dot something something similar to this one. But now you can see you can combine this and then you can even add a message. This will be the body of the email. Hi, Irfan or whoever. A new booking got created for dog vehicle. Please check the booking here. And we can write HTML, right? So an a tag with a link, right? Slash app slash ride booking. So there are Frappe methods to get this dynamically. Then this will be dog.name link, right? I hit save. It is enabled. So in summary, now whenever a new booking arrives, right, this email will trigger whenever a new ride booking doc type is created. This email will get triggered and all system managers, right, whoever have the role. So we have a role permission management, as I said, right, out of the box. So whatever users have the role of system manager will get this email with this information, right? There are some more options like after sending email. So you can also say attach print. So it will attach a PDF of the document with the email. And one more thing, yeah. Set property after alert. So you can set any of the fields. So maybe you want to change the status to accepted automatically once this email is sent, right? So now what will happen? Email will come in, like booking will come in, this notification will be sent, and then after the alert or the notification, the status will be sent to accepted. So this is how you can easily do automatic accepted, right? Or you want you have a checkbox like notification sent or anything. So that can be done here. So I'll remove this for now. Don't want that. But yeah, this was the notification feature, right? So you have more options here. So you can say, I want to send it. So these two are very interesting. Days after and days before. So if you have a date field, right? So maybe days after reference date, it will show you all the date fields booking for, let's say, days before. Right. So now this will send the notification 2 days before booking date, right? Maybe you want to create a new notification for that. That okay, a reminder notification that okay, tomorrow is the right. Please prepare for it, or right to the driver, maybe. So this is that thing. Any doubts on this? Nothing? I think everyone knows everything. So nobody is asking any questions. Either that's the case or I am not making anything clear. So there's nothing to ask question about. Two of the one cases. One of the two cases. Yeah, cool. So this was notification. Now you can do a lot of stuff if you want. Okay. So I was talking about permissions. Let me quickly cover basic permissions. I will share a video, right? Uh, Either in the handout that will go in much more depth, right, of the permissions that you can watch. And we will have a Q&A session. So today is the last session for the content, but we still will have a 1 hour Q&A session, 1.5 hour Q&A session after a few days. Like when you are done with the first 3 assignments, or maybe you can try them out probably next week. Then you can ask any questions there, right? So what I will do is I will show you the user. Let's go back to the user, right? And if you open up any user, let's say Hussein, and then there is a tab called roles and permissions. See, I'll click this and you will see there are a lot of checkboxes here. So here it says these are all the roles that are applied to this user, right? These are all the roles that are applied to the users. For example, script manager, right? Or sales manager. So sales manager, if you click on the role, you will see the doc type and what access, what permissions this role brings to this user. So this brings contact doc type. There is a contact doc type in Frappe. It lets them read, write, create, contact, but not delete. C dash, right? So tick means they will be able to read, write, create, won't be able to delete, won't be able to submit, cancel, or amend. They will be able to use it in a report. They won't be able to import or export it. A lot of permissions here. And you will ask, where are this set, right? I can show you one more example. Let's say blogger, right? So blogger has read, write, create, report, print email. And blogger settings, they only have read access to the settings, so they can't write, create, or delete, right? Similarly for blog category. So these are all doc types. See, I can show you one more if you want to, but you get the point. There are roles and then they bring permissions. So these are ultimately Hussein will get permissions of all these roles. Union. It's a union. It's not like you get the permissions of, okay, just the common ones in all of this. No, right? If account manager brings access to sales invoice, purchase invoice, they will get it. If blogger brings blog post, they will also get it. So three now. You get the point. This is the union. And one more thing you can do is you can group role profiles. So I can say there is a new profile called engineer, and he is a script manager, system manager, website manager, workspace manager, and translator. So now I can hit save, and it created a new role profile. So profile is a way of grouping those roles. So I can now come here and say he becomes an engineer. You can do multiple of this, and you will see automatically those five got selected. So this can be useful if you have like 20 employees, right? Five of them are engineers. So you don't have to go and check again and again for all those five. You create a profile that engineer gets these four roles, right? Employee gets these four roles. And you can mix and match. You can say that he's an engineer, he's also an employee. So employees also can blog, and they can also contribute to knowledge base. Okay. Now I go back. He's an engineer, but he is also an employee. So you see, these five were brought by the engineer profile, and these two, blogger and knowledge base contributor, were brought by employee. This is not in V14, by the way. Like in V14, you could only select one of the profiles. This was recently contributed. Really nice feature. So you can select multiple profiles, it will join them. Nice. And now you can see what all permissions they will get. Blogger will bring this doc type permissions. Knowledge base will bring this help article, read, write, create permission. Like, nice. So ERP Next also brings out of the box its own roles and permissions, right? It can bring sales manager or account manager. Like some are already here, probably because of ERP Next, because in framework sense, this doesn't make sense. Like just like one doc type, right? What purchase manager has? Contact again. So I don't know. It should have been in ERP Next, but fine. So you will say, how can I add my own roles, right? So let's go to role list, not role profile list, role list. What does the level mean? I will send you a video. Check that video. And if you still have doubt, we'll cover level in Q&A. So in brief, it lets you control field level permissions. So, okay, suppose in the doc type, I have some fields I only want to show to some roles. Granular. Make sense? Then you can use the level feature. Cool. So this was now see, these are the roles, right? And these are the roles we could see here as well. So we'll create one role for ourselves called driver, maybe, or fleet manager, let's say. Hit save, and fleet manager got created. And you will see some generic settings, like whether this role gives desk access. So desk access is this desk, right? Or are they website users? Only see the portal. So fleet manager, it means they have to manage the vehicles, so they will have desk access. You can set a home page for especially for this role. You can say though they won't see the sidebar or they can't do bulk actions, right? They won't see the dashboard. So that all you can configure in the role. And when I apply, go to user list now. I clear cache. It's clear cache. I go to Irfan and roles and permissions. So I'll be able to see my new role as a checkbox here. See, fleet manager. So I check fleet manager, right? Hit save. And now Irfan has the fleet manager, but there are no doc type permissions because we didn't create any, right? We just have a fresh role, nothing assigned. Clear till now? So what did we do? We created a role. That's it. And it was automatically visible in one of the checkboxes as one of the checkboxes. Does not have any permissions because we didn't give any, right? If you open up others, say script manager, see so many permissions they have, right? So now as app developer, how can you do that? So that happens in doc type as well. So I'll go to vehicle, I'll go to settings, I'll scroll down to permission rules, right? Here you can see by default, it will add system manager, read, write, create, delete, but we can add our own. I will say fleet manager cannot delete, but read, write, and create. And then I'll create one more fleet manager. I'll open this checkbox. I will say if user is the owner, then let them delete. So let me explain for basic permission set. I'll have to apply this. Yeah. So now what I'm saying is let them read, write, and create new vehicles, but don't delete, right? And then I'm applying one more row. I'm saying let them read, write, delete as well, but I have checked this checkbox, which means if they created it, then only they can delete it. Make sense? So you can control here that, okay, they can't submit or they can't submit. Yeah. Why we cannot make into one role and level? I didn't get your question. Can you elaborate?
Uh, I mean, we apply the delete if the owner into the third row, right? Why cannot we make it into the same row as the second one?
So if you do this, right,
Yeah, exactly.
then delete this. So this means that they can read, write, create, but only their roles. So I added two because I wanted them to,
Oh, I
anybody's, you can read, write, create, but for the delete part, I created a new one. So you can delete only yours. Make sense?
makes
Why I
sense, makes
created
sense.
two. Otherwise,
Understand.
you will apply all these three to only if user.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Cool. So this was like, and this will show up in your JSON file. So you, whenever you share, people can, like, whoever will pull will get the role as well as the permission. So if this role will not be in their system, Frappe will go and automatically create the role for you. Okay. So now comes an important part. How will they customize it, right? So suppose you ship and then Irfan wants that, okay, no, I don't want delete to anyone, right? So do you update your app, then push and then update for his site? Because if you start this business, right, you sell this software to 5 people of rental management because it's a common software. Maybe you made an app and you started selling it to other rental businesses and they want delete, right? The first one wants delete, the second one doesn't want delete. What you will do? You will create multiple apps? No. You can customize site wise. Just like we created a custom doc type, right? That was just in the site, not in the app. Similarly, you can create, like you can configure these permissions on the site. So we have something called a role permission manager where you can, so this is just for the site, no relation to the custom app. You can say, you can just say fleet manager and it will show you what all fleet permissions that fleet manager have and you can configure from here. So I don't want them to create new vehicles. Done. This is just for this site. So this will override your doc type that came with the app, right? So be careful. You can even delete. Okay. They say, I don't want it. Even if the app brings it, I don't want it. And you can say per vehicle as a vehicle, right? So if you select a doc type and suppose you change something here, right? You want to revert back. You can always click on this restore original permissions, right? And it will tell you this were the original permissions that came with the app for this doc type. Click yes, and this will revert back and this will bring back create, right? So even if you do some customizations here, there is a restore button, you can go back. But this is only for the site. Outs, anything. So this is basic role permission management in Frappe. I'll send you a detailed video for level. You can check that out. But yeah, you can, it is documented here as well if you want. So I will suggest reading through this documentation when you're exploring. Does this make sense? Because we have other big topics to conquer. Cool. And one more thing before I forget. So if you check this is standard, right? So notification, this will be custom by default. So this will be just on the side. But if you check this and tell iCaps, it will generate code in the app. So I can open iCap. And if I see the code now, I'll be able to see the notification and I can contribute this notification. See, let me push feature notification folder, right? And then there is this new notification, which has a JSON file and a markdown file. Markdown file, basically, this is the content, right? We set the content of the email is that, and this JSON contains everything else. So new booking notification, and then I'll push it so Nikhil can pull and work on it. So new booking notification. Then I can push to GitHub. So now they will get this notification. Whoever installs this app will get this notification as a standard notification, right? But anyways, since this is Frappe, the user can create more notifications that just for the site, right? So Irfan can go and create more notifications if we teach him how to create one, so he doesn't come again and again. Yeah. So anything in permissions or notifications? Nothing? Let's proceed to the next topic. Clear? Nice. I think you'll all ace the assignments in 1 or 2 days and then. Cool. Okay, then Nikhil, you can take over. I'll just stop sharing my screen.
Yep. I'll first pull and then merge into my branch because
If you
I
want,
already had some.
your topic doesn't depend on.
Yeah, I don't think it does. Yeah. Let me share my screen. Okay, now I'm confused which desktop it is. Yeah, it is this one. Yeah. My screen's visible?
Yep.
Okay. So I think we'll cover hooks first, right?
Yeah, your call. Then you can go to reports. That's fine.
Okay. So when you create a Frappe app, there's a file called hooks.py that gets generated automatically, right? By default, it will have some default values, like the title, name, publisher. If you remember when we did bench new app, it asked us for these details. So it adds it over here to hooks.py. But really, as the name suggests, hooks.py is meant to hook into existing features of either framework or any other app, right? So you'll also see that there's a lot of code that is commented out over here. I think I'll have to zoom in maybe so that you can see it properly. But so let's say that you were building in, so I'll go through the main hooks and then there you can refer to the documentation for all the other hooks. So let's say if you were building an app that is dependent on ERP Next, right? So ERP Next definitely needs to be installed. So in required apps, you would have to mention ERP Next. What this would do is that when you install iCab, it will first check that all the required apps are there or not. And if not, it will install those and then install iCab, right? Then you have JSS and CSS files. So there are two of these, right? One is app include CSS, app include and web include. So these would be included in your desk interface. So let me pull that up as well. In fact, I need to start this server. See.
So in the meantime, I have shared a documentation in the chat for static assets. So I will recommend everyone to read it once. This is how, like, you will store the files which you use in hooks.
Yep. Let's see. I'll have to zoom in. Okay, so you can include assets over here, right, on desk. So I'll give you an example. You can see Raven over here, right? This was done via the assets itself. It's a JavaScript and CSS asset that we have pulled in so that it's visible on the desk. How do I move this? Why does this keep on coming? Okay, nice. Let's see. Yep. And then if you want to include custom CSS and JS in your websites, right, on your portal pages, then you can use these. Similarly, you can have website themes, right? So you can also set this up, by the way, from the from the UI as well, right? But if you want to include it within your app, you can have website theme as CSS set, so it will set up your theme. I haven't used this ever, haven't felt the need to, but it's there. I'll just comment all of these out. Next, we'll go. So this is page.js. Similarly, you have other views. So you can have, so when you create a custom page, or by the way, I don't think we have covered custom pages, right, Hussain?
No, not yet. You can give a brief.
Right. So again, a page is nothing but you can have it as a system page. It's basically, let's say if you wanted to create a page that is not a form, not a list, but maybe a combination of all of those. It's not a dashboard or a report, right? A good example would be what Frappe ships by default. That is, let's say the workflow builder page, right? Or the backups page. So if you go to, this page, right? It's not a dashboard. It's not a report. It's just a regular page. You can create it from the page doc type, right? And if you want to include JavaScript, custom JavaScript on all the pages, then you can have this. Similarly, if you want to include custom JavaScript in all doc type forms, doc type lists, doc type tree views, and calendar views, you can include these. I'll comment these out again.
And these
Okay.
are per doc type, Nikhil. So like you can mention sales invoice and then link.
Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot to mention that. Yeah. So yes, so you can Yeah, you can add it per doc type, or I think the star thing also works probably over here. So
I'm not sure. I have to check. But yeah.
yeah, but I think in Python it works, I'm pretty sure,
Yeah,
but
I
I'm not
think
sure about JavaScript. Yeah. But yeah, you can mention sales invoice, and then in sales invoice, this would be included, right? Okay. Next, yeah, you can have custom icons, right? You can refer to how Frappe has their icons in a single SVG file. I think there are two of these that they have, so you can refer to that. What I usually do to figure out how to use these hooks is I look at other Frappe apps that might be using it. So there might be ERP Next or Frappe HR that is already using it, and so I see their implementation. That's probably the best way to learn Frappe, in my opinion. Next, we have homepage and role homepage. Okay. So homepage is essentially what you will do is, so let's say if you wanted all users to come to a specific page by default, right? So that would be your homepage, right? So in our case, it could be rides or cars, I think vehicles, right? You can set that up. Similarly, you can have a role homepage wherein you can set the role for all website users. All of these, by the way, so okay, so let's say that you have different kinds of website users in your system, right? You have maybe okay, not a website user, but actually any user. Let's say if you want the fleet manager to always go to /app, right? So the desk interface. But you want, let's say, the driver to always go to a portal page, a very specific portal page, right? Then you can set these home pages by role, right? I think the setting on the site would override them, but I'm not sure. But that's something that you can check. Next, we have website generators. So these are a little complex, but really all it does is that you can have uh, you can create a custom web page for all the doc types that you add over here, right? So I think Frappe Builder would be using this. Frappe Wiki will also be using this. So you can check those apps for these. Jinja. So this is pretty cool. So now let's say that you had, so in our case, we use Jinja for our notification templates, right? Let's say that there's a very peculiar function that is very much applicable to your app, right? Um, Good example, ERP Next uses this for like get default company, right? So you want to get the default company in the Jinja template, right? Now, one option is that you can always do frappe dot get doc and so on and so forth. But what you could additionally do is you can extend the standard Jinja functions over here. So you can specify the path to your Jinja file, define those functions in Python, and then you can use those functions in your Jinja templates. I'll just keep a lookout on the chat. Okay, yeah, nothing else. Okay, so this is pretty helpful when you do some sort of advanced templating. Installation. This So let's say you want to run some code before installation. Usually the kind of code that we run before installation is things like checking some settings or checking uh, before installation. Yeah, usually it's related to settings, right? And uh, and setup, right? So you also write some setup code. After installation is usually when you import all of your default values. So you might have default, let's say, so let's say in our ride booking app, we want to load a bunch of default or we want to load a bunch of customizations on certain fields, right? Maybe iCabs is integrated with ERP Next and you want to do that. So then you would use after install to set up those fields. So you can use common functions in Frappe to create custom fields and so on, right? So that's installation. Same concept, uninstallation. That's all right. Okay, yeah. Now this is a new hook. Again, this is very pretty advanced stuff, but let's say you wanted to detect when a particular app was installed or uninstalled. So this is not for your own apps installation or uninstallation. This is, let's say, you wanted to detect when ERP Next is uninstalled or Frappe HR is uninstalled, right? Or installed. Do this. So that's when you would actually, run your cleanup, setup and cleanup code. So let's say someone installed iCab, then they installed ERP Next. Let's say it's not a required app, right? And you wanted to add custom fields to ERP Next. You can only add those custom fields after ERP Next is installed on that site, right? Because otherwise you cannot access those doc types. So you would use these hooks for those. Next. So yeah, notification configuration, you can set these up. I'll go into these a little bit. So Hussein showed you the permission queries that were there inside the UI, right? But via hooks.py, so sometimes your permissions can get pretty complex. I mean, I've used these extensively, for Raven. Game Plan also uses these, wherein you need to check for more than just what is in that doc type. So you might have a scenario where, let's say, you have a driver and you have a vehicle and you have a booking. So you want to check the permission for the booking based on the driver's permission, right? Could be something complex like that. So you can override those using permission hooks, right? So these would again be Python functions that return true or false. Okay. Yes. Now we get into the interesting bits. So doc type class. So now see, first I'll actually cover doc type events and then I'll go to doc type class. So let's say that your app wants to override certain behavior, right? Or extend certain behavior. So both of those are different, by the way. Override means that you essentially want to not follow what's there in that particular doc type by default. You want to have your own custom logic. So let's say iCabs wants to customize how a sales invoice works, right? So it would use override doc type class where it would extend the base class of sales invoice and then override certain methods in sales invoice, right? Now, why would you need that? Is, let's say you don't want to follow what happens normally in a sales invoice that has been coded into ERP Next. You want to override it. That's when you would use an override doc type class. So you would mention your sales invoice and then you would add your part to the sales invoice class, the custom sales invoice class that you have, right? But in most cases though, this is like at the, if you actually have to override, as said, you can also extend, right? So extend is essentially that you want to have sales invoice do its thing, right? But then you want to extend it. So let's say you wanted to add an extra level of validation, right, on a sales invoice. So you can just say, okay, for a sales invoice, let's run before validate or validate, right? And what this would do is that it would run whatever method you pointed to. It would run after the validation is done by sales invoice itself. So sales invoice own validation method runs, then your validate method runs, right? So most cases you would use extends, right? But in certain cases, you might want to override whatever is there in some other doc type, right? Oh, by the way, in doc events, as I was saying earlier, you can do something like star, and so these events would run on all doc types, right? In fact, if you go into Frappé's code base, if I can pull that up, see in Frappé's code base, you'll see that they run, Hussein just set up the notification doc type, right? How is it actually sending those notifications on certain events, right? It's actually doing this via doc events itself, wherein it's hooking into a doc type of its own, right? Okay, so why did Frappé have to do this? Because Frappé is not just so Frappe also wants to hook into other doc type events, right? So it wants to hook into iCab's doc types events. And remember, Frappe itself is a Frappe app. So yeah. So whenever a document is updated, it runs all of these methods, right? And so that's how it's able to actually process those notifications. And in fact, everything else, assignment rules, everything runs via these hooks, right? Via doc events. Let's see. Okay. Next, we have scheduler events, right? You might want to run some where I write the method to use in the override. So in the override, you would create a class, right? I don't think that there would be an override over here anywhere, but so you would create a class that extends the base class, right? And then you would just say def validate, right? In that class itself to override it. And your hooks.py would mention the path to the class itself. So it's just Python classes and methods, simple. Next, so as I was saying, scheduler events are, you might want to run certain tasks periodically, right? So you might want to run, an API call every 30 minutes or something, right? That you can do via scheduler events over here. And by the way, if you want, if your task is a very long running job, that is, it takes a lot of time, right? So you can have, I think it's called daily long, right? Yeah. And then you can run those tasks in that, right? So long means it's a very long process. So it will give you more timeout. So the timeout will be increased for that particular process. So that's scheduler events. Tests, yeah, once you start writing unit tests, by the way, once you actually start making serious Frappe apps, you should write unit tests. They're awesome. But sometimes you want to run certain hooks before your tests start, right? You might want to set up the environment, create some dummy data, right? So you can do all of that in before tests. Okay, now let's go to overriding methods. Let's say that you have an API, a whitelisted API, right? And you want to override it. You want to override the API itself. So again, this is override, not extend. So this is completely replacing the existing API that exists at that path, and you want to replace it with your own API. You can do that using override whitelisted methods. Similarly, override doc type dashboard. So I'll just show what this.
Did you answer? I missed, I think. Where I write the method to use in the override. Okay.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks.
So override doc type dashboard. So this I'll tell you what a doc type dashboard is first. Then maybe we get into it. I don't think the task has a. I don't think this one has a dashboard. No. So normally you'll see a connections tab or something similar. That's actually your dashboard. So in user, do we have that? Yeah, usually there is a page or there's a tab called dashboards. You'll see it in some doc types in ERP Next, SAP HR. For example, the employee doc type has this, right? So this is a connections tab. This comes in by default. In fact, you need to set this up in your doc type, but you can override this. So this is essentially your dashboard, doc type dashboard, right? Don't get confused by this because there's another dashboard which is like the actual dashboard. That's different. So this is your doc type dashboard. Okay, I think the rest you can have, you can read the documentation available, right? This would be nice to enable in V15 and above, right? Export Python type annotation. So what this would do is that when you create a doc type, it will automatically generate type definitions for that doc type in the class itself. So this is good to have. Yeah. So I think that covers all the hooks. Hussein, what do we cover next? Do we go into reports now?
Maybe you can show fixtures because it is useful, like as an example, because it is not documented in the file. So
Yeah, so I'll have to create some dummy data and then export fixtures.
yeah, we can
Let's
take the
see.
example of the vehicle type.
Do we have vehicle type? Oh yeah. Let's actually create vehicle type then. So okay. Uh, so when we add a vehicle, right, we also need to have a type of the vehicle. So whether it's an SUV, whether it's a sedan, right, you might have different types by default as well. So let's first add a field, but for that we want this to be dynamic, right? Because maybe Irfan's company works in a way that they have types set up as 4-seater, 5-seater, 7-seater, etc. Maybe some other company operates like, okay, my vehicle type could be an SUV, sedan, right? So we want this to be dynamic. So what we'll do is that we'll create. Oh no, what am I doing? I need to create a doc type called vehicle type. So vehicle type, iCab, yeah, create and continue. Oh, okay. I might have some hook enabled. Okay. Yeah. So I'll just add a simple field for data field called type name. That's it, right? Type name, it's mandatory, and my naming rule will be by field name, type name, right? We might extend this later on. You can have, how many seats, etc. you want, but for now, this is good enough. And if I go to vehicle and add a link field called type, okay, let's go to vehicle list. So you'll now see that there's a type over here, and it says create a new vehicle type. Now, when you're installing this app, you can actually auto populate this list, right, with a bunch of defaults, right? You still want the user to be able to dynamically change it. So but you still want, let's say 4 or 5 options to be there as part of your installation package of the app, right? That is essentially what fixtures are. So let me create a vehicle type, SUV. Yep, let's actually create a bunch of them. SUV, sedan, maybe. What else? Hatchback. Yeah, okay. Now let's say I want these 3 options to be there by default whenever a user installs iCab. So what I can do is that I can create fixtures, right? And so I can do that via hooks. Let me pull up. Fixtures. Yep. So I'm just going to copy this hook. Surprised that it's not there by default in H.py. Yeah. So I want this to be vehicle type and table. Right. So by the way, these are all the changes that have happened to all the vehicle type, doc type has created all of these. But anyway, what I want is that I want to export the four or three fixtures that I have, or the three values that I have. I want to export this, right? So I'll just call bench export fixtures. I want to where is my, yeah, okay. Bench export fixtures. So you see exporting vehicle type, app, ICAP, filters, none, right? See, it's created a JSON file in the folder fixtures with the values of those three doc types, or the three documents, right? Now, what will happen is that, let's say if you pull this in and install this app, these values will get automatically populated into the database of the user. Remember that with fixtures, the one of the problems is that this will always override. So uh, I mean, this will, so even if the user creates something new, right, it will whenever it runs a bench update, it will override it. So probably, like, that's why I don't use it often, right? If I have to actually set up default values that the user can configure, I usually do it via the after install hook, wherein you directly add it to the database using frappe.get doc and dot insert, right? So remember that. So yeah. Okay, I think that's it. So Hussein, do we go into reports now?
Yeah, sure. Like in any
Okay.
questions, books we can take. Otherwise, let's
What if
proceed.
we need to document in fixtures? Yeah, so you can, this is an array, right? So you can have more. So you can even export, let's say, vehicle, which you don't want to do, but you can add as many as you want to.
And if by document
Again,
mean actually two documents, you can filter. Instead of passing a dictionary, you pass a
okay.
instead of passing
Yeah,
a
so
string,
if
you can
you
pass
want
a value.
to, yeah, if you only want to apply it to certain documents, okay. Yeah. You'll see that over here. You see, Frappe also loads a bunch of default values, but they don't do it via fixtures, right? That's because they want it to be customizable. So I'll give an example. In currency, this is actually loaded by default whenever you install Frappe. Same with the country list, but this is actually loaded, in their installation process and not in their, not via fixtures. Um, but in this filter also applied. Um, yeah, so you can set up filters. So here, right? So something like this. You might want to only add to your fixture where role name is like admin, right? So this would be the way to do it. I don't know if that makes sense. Or does that answer your question? Okay. Yeah, I'll get rid of this. Okay, we'll go into reports now. Yes, but if we have two documents in this, we do have two documents. We had, so we have three documents over here, right? So what are you talking about, two doc types or two documents? Or maybe
Two
we
doc
can,
types. Two doc types with filter. Both of the
right.
filter with two doc types.
Oh, okay. So two doc types with filters. So again, it would be like this, right? You can, again, this is an array, right? So you can just add to this. So you can have vehicle, and then you can have a filter for that. You can have driver, you can have a filter for that.
Does that answer
Okay,
your-
got your answer. DT means doc type. Got it.
Yeah. So you pass in dictionaries if you want to do filters instead of string.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
Okay. Now we'll go to reports. So now if I go to, let's see what had this I wanted over here. Too many tabs. Yeah. So we want a report of vehicles by make, right? So I'll go to vehicle list. So in Frappe, by default, you get a report view, right? This is your report view. How is the report view different from the list view? Well, first thing, you can actually edit things right in place, right? So that's the first thing that's actually different between the list view and the report view. Second, in the list view, you get fancy things like badges and all of that. In report view, you don't get any of that, right? Then you can, in report view, you can group. So you can say, I want to group by make, right? And you can have a count. Similarly, some, this doesn't make any sense whatsoever, but yeah, it's a count, right? And so you can do all this in a report view, can't do that on a list view, right? So this is by default. And similarly, you can, in your report view, you can have certain default reports. So what happens a lot of times is that you might want different types of layouts in your reports, right? So you can do that via the report builder over here, right? Now, let's say that you wanted to take it a step further. You want certain report types, right, to be available when your app is installed to all of your users. So you can go to report list, right? And you can create a report over here. So we'll first create a report using the report builder, right? So we'll say vehicles by make. I want this to be running on vehicle. So if you do it as yes, if standard is yes, then it will actually export it to your app. Otherwise, it won't. Right? You can set up your roles. I think we had a fleet manager role. Oh, okay, maybe not. Right. Okay, so you can set up roles, whoever has access to these, right? And then you can set up columns and filters, right? So by default, if someone selects this report, right, when they're viewing it, those filters get applied. So let's say that you can say that vehicle by make, I think it was year. And so, yeah, you want these filters to be there on the header, right? So I want to filter by year. Maybe I also want to filter by model. Yeah, I'm not making any of these mandatory because it doesn't make sense in our case, but I'll show you what that means though. Let's see, make, sorry. Model and year. Okay, if I go to show report, yep. So, I mean, I basically, wait, what? We don't have a report. Maybe I can just save the report over here, but where's the report? Okay, so, surprised that didn't work.
So sometimes you have to again save, like after save as.
So, wait, save what?
So go back.
This?
There's a report builder, right? Go to show report.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You are saying that you configured it from there and it doesn't work here.
Yeah, okay, yeah, now it works. So I had to reload, sorry. Yeah. So yeah, so Frappe will cache things and so it might not appear, right? So always reload over here. So that will actually clear the local browser cache at least. So yeah, now it's working. So vehicles by make, and then so what this would do is that by default your app will have this report, right? So you can add a bunch of reports over here. Now, so that's report builder, right? Hussein, did we want to do anything else over here? Or did we want to show anything in report builder specifically?
It's fine. We can show the standard part if you want. You showed it already, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Let me just show that over here. See, and not this, but yeah, this vehicle by make.json. So in report, in the report folder, it's created this vehicle by make.json, right? Whenever our app is going to get installed, this will be loaded into the database of the user, this report. Okay. There's another, right? Which is, so if you click on add report, you'll see that there are multiple types, right? So you have query report, script report, custom report. We'll cover query and script report over here, right? So what we'll try to do is that we'll run the same query report, right? Using, so we'll run the same report that is over here and we'll do it via query report. So let's see, we have report name, query report, vehicle by make, vehicle. Let me just wait a sec. Yep, sorry about that. Okay, so we'll create a query report. So again, same philosophy. You set it to standard, it will show up, right? And then you can write a script over here. So this script that you write, right, will be an SQL script. So this will be like select, I don't know, maybe I should just do select star. Okay. So let's see what it generated. Okay, I'll show, yeah. So I just did select star, right? But you can pretty much, add other things over there, right? but you can run queries. So SQL queries over here. Very helpful if you want to join vehicle with other doc types. So you might want to join, you can pretty much go nuts with query reports, right? And you can have, so if you see over here, there are no filters available, right? But pretty much the same way, you can add those filters in this table and it will show up over there, right? So that's query report. Next, we'll go into script reports, right? So script report, rides revenue by make. We'll create that. So see, wait, I first need to check what all doc types I have. We have ride invoice, right? So, okay, so we want to create a report, right? Wherein we want to see by which make, right? So by compared to, let's say, a Honda versus a Kia versus some other brand, right? Which is actually generating the most amount of revenue. You might also want to do it by, let's say, drivers, right? You want to see per driver who's generating what revenue, and you want that to, I mean, you cannot do it with just the ride invoice doc type, right? So that's the limitation of a report builder, because they run only on one doc type, right? You want this to be running across multiple, so you have to join multiple doc types for this. So in our case, we'll have to join vehicle, right? And then in vehicle, we have make, right? So we'll have to get the make and then group it by that. So we'll use query builder for this, right? But we want to generate a report. So we'll create a script report. So I'll do it for, this is for invoice, right? Invoice is standard, and then script report, and maybe add a total row, because we don't really care, but yeah. Rides revenue by make, right? So if I go to show report, you'll see that there's nothing to show because I haven't programmed it yet, right? You'll see I cannot write the script over here. So this is a script report. So I need to actually write Python code in my code base. Rides revenue by make. Okay. So this file was generated because I made it a standard report, right? This file was generated automatically, right? It says execute. So what we want is, first I'll have to create a bunch of data. Let's say was the license number an integer field?
It was data, so fill anything you want.
Why is this not happening? It says this dot doc dot name dot bold is not a function.
Yeah, there is a bug. So it got created, but the dialog doesn't close.
Okay.
Weird.
Yeah. Okay. Let's say Hussein is booking a vehicle. He's taking a Honda City on the 1st of March. And then we'll have to set up a mobile number. I don't even know if this is a valid mobile number. I hope it doesn't throw an error. Right. Yeah. Dubai. Okay. So I've created a ride. No, I haven't created it yet. I've created a customer, right? I've created a booking, and then source destination, because I would need this. So B distance is 20, rate per kilometer, let's say 20, right? So that's $400. Okay. So we have a ride invoice, right? We have vehicle, we have booking. Now what I want to do is I want to see this in a report, right? So over here, show report, I want to see data over here. So you'll see that I have, let me just pull up. Yeah. So there's a function called execute. I'll import Frappe, and there's columns and data, right? We want to populate this table using these two, right? And you can pass in more options. We'll get to that later if time permits. But first, let's go into columns. So I'll create a function got get columns. Okay, yeah. Rides revenue by make. So you've got make, you've got the number of rides, and you've got the overall revenue, right? So it's already auto-filled everything for me, right? So columns is equal to get columns. I can get rid of this, and this still won't have any effect over here, right? Because there's no data to show. So there's no data over here. So we'll need to populate it with data. And for that, we'll use Query Builder. So I don't know how many of you have used PyPika before, but it's a Python library to construct SQL queries with ease, right? So yeah. So normally you would write something like this, frappe.db.sql, write the entire SQL query over here. But in Frappe, I think V14 onwards, this was introduced, Query Builder, right? Wherein you can, do it in a much cleaner way, in my opinion, right? So we are going to use this, right? I want to import these two. Okay, doc type count. I don't want count. Actually, I want count, but I also want sum, right? And then we'll just take this and then modify it. So get columns, I'll hide this for now. Let's get data. For now, we don't have any filters, so I won't pass it. Make a query to get revenue per make, and additionally show the number of rides as well, right? So I'm going to paste this. Okay, yeah. So see, the doc types that I want to join, right, are let's see, ride invoice. I want to join ride invoice, so I can do frappe.qb.doc type, not this, ride invoice. Similarly, I want, I think, vehicle, right? So vehicle and vehicle. Okay. So from invoice dot join vehicle dot on invoice dot, I'll use that trick. Yes, vehicle equals to vehicle dot name dot select. I want to select for the invoice. I mean, from the invoice, what do we want? We want the amount, but we want the sum of it, right? And we want the number of invoices, maybe. So, but we do want the make, right? We definitely want the make of the vehicle. So select, we'll say vehicle dot make, right? Let's get rid of all of this. Get rid of this. Okay. We want to count the number of invoices. So invoice dot name. And then we want a sum of invoice dot, what is this variable name, total amount. Okay, I'm not going to run a where clause for now, right? Let's just do this first and let's see if that works. Now I'll have to check where, if this is correct or not. So count, I'll need to do dot as, or I think it's as, we'll have to say rides. I hope this is the correct syntax if I'm not wrong. Yeah, oh no, sorry, it's as underscore. Yeah, as, and then sum, you would do the same thing as revenue, right? We'll apply the filters and I'll probably show you two kinds of filters over here. Oh, I haven't called this function. Yeah, okay. Nothing to show. Let's do refresh. Columns. We're getting the columns. Oh, okay, sorry. I'm not returning result. Amazing. Yeah, okay. Yeah. See, we've got make, we've got rides, revenue, right? Let's actually create more data because this is kind of lame. Let's give here. We'll have to create a new booking, right?
I didn't think I added any validation. You can use the same.
Okay. Okay, I can use the same.
Oh, okay.
Oh, but it will have the same car, right?
Yeah, so you have to create now. Okay.
Yeah. And let's say that we drove this at this. Okay. Yeah. So it seems to be working, but let's for our own sake, let's create a new. So let's make this on Kia booking for today. Why is the contact mandatory? Because they have to call the person, that's why. RF will drive me as well. Let's see, 10 kilometers and should say $25. Right. Okay, did we? Okay, yeah. So something seems to be wrong, right? So I think the query, I did not add a group by. And field object is not callable. Let's see the documentation. I usually do group by just like that. No, we don't want any of this. Wait, what was the error again? Field object is not callable. Let's inspect. Field object is not callable. Wait, where did I apply this to? Select query.
Maybe try moving select towards the end.
I mean,
Shouldn't
that,
be different.
yeah, that usually works. Or maybe the group by function is wrong, my syntax. Maybe it's, oh yeah, it is, it doesn't have an underscore.
Okay.
Okay. So we have ride revenue by make now, right? Kia $250. Oh, by the way, if you want this currency symbol to go away, you need to have a field for currency in your invoice, right? And then link that in an option. So refer to ERP Next or Frappe HR for how to set this up. But yeah,
We can do
now
something
you,
if it is report, right? And you know
yeah,
that,
yeah, I can set it up over here.
yeah, in options you can directly give INR maybe. Yeah, that should work. INR. Yeah.
Maybe not options, but currency itself.
Ah,
I don't know. Maybe it usually works with options. Nope.
ah,
Hmm.
weird. But last time I checked, it worked. No.
Nope.
Cool. Maybe a bug, but
Yeah. We usually work on the develop branch, so there might be bugs in Frappe. Always use the version 15 branch. That's the stable one. Anyway, now you'll see a problem with this though, right? Is that I'm not really filtering by the submitted documents at all, right? So these are just invoices that have not been submitted. So you really can't count that as revenue, right? Ideally, after it's submitted, that's when it should actually show the data. So I can do a filter, right? And invoice.stock status is equal to 1. It's like Copilot sometimes is listening, right? Yeah. So this is now filtered by doc status, right? If you want to add more filters and all, right, then see there is a filters parameter over here, and then you can use that. This will be an object, right? How do you configure the filter options? You go to, so with a server script, with a server report, right? Server script report, you'll have two, right? So you'll have a Python file and you'll have a JavaScript file that's also created. And over here, you can pass in your filters. So you can, I'll probably need to, yeah. See, now you can pass in filters over here, right? So you can create filters and then these filters are available to your backend, and you can create pretty complex reports from this. In fact, the absolute, like, this feature is so powerful, it powers almost all of the extremely complex reports that are there in ERP Next. In fact, you can also have things like tree views and all. If you're familiar with ERP Next, you might have seen reports where they have tree views in the P&L statement and the balance sheet, right? Those are all created via script reports, so you can pretty much go crazy over here. So any questions so far?
yeah, there was a question I answered, but like if you don't want to use query builder, like your first, so usually I do this, like whenever I'm want some data from the database, I first look at ORM, like if that is possible using
Yeah.
get all right, then you can easily use that. And then if that is not possible using get all, which is in case of any complicated joins,
Yeah.
then you can go to query builder and not raw SQL.
Yeah, not raw SQL. And by the way, Query Builder does not enforce permissions as far as I know, right? So
No,
ideally,
no.
you would want to check for permission before Query Builder. As far as I understand, Query Builder does not check for permissions.
No, it doesn't. Like even
Yeah.
DB methods, right? They don't check for permissions.
Oh yeah. I mean, raw SQL, so we shouldn't use it anyway, right? But I'm saying for Query Builder, unlike the ORM method, so get all also obviously does not check for permissions. But if you were using get list, it would check for permissions.
Yeah,
But
they all check for permissions. So
yeah, so always check for permissions if it's not covered by the permissions that are set over here by the role, right? If you want even more granular permissions, you should always set it. And instead of throwing an error to the user, you should always filter out the data based on what they can see, right? Probably not doesn't make sense for reports, but yeah. Can this report have multiple table section? One table is for the detail, another table is for summary. So you cannot have two tables, right? But what you can do is you can have like charts and summaries. So you can have like cards and stuff like that. So I don't know if we have time to cover that. Maybe we do.
Yeah, we do have time. Like usually charts we cover, so we can.
Okay. Okay. So let me actually get the charts. So we want a pie chart, right?
Yep. Pie
Mm,
donut.
okay. Yeah. So let's do
Share the
get.
Rapid charts documentation in the chat.
You've already shared it?
No, I will share. You can continue.
Okay. Um, hmm. So this is what Copilot has suggested, but I'll just comment it in just in case, right? So in Frappe, these charts, right, they are built using a library called Frappe Charts, which is another open source library that Frappe themselves maintain, right? Uh, it requires labels and data sets, right? So you can pass in an array of labels, right? And then you can also pass in, data sets. So this is definitely wrong, right? What I'm going to do is that I'm going to pass this data, the data that I get from here, right? I'm going to pass it to get chart data to get the chart data, right? Now, for my labels, right, what I want is I want make, and for my data set, I want to loop over data. So for D in data sets dot append, and I need to append an object over here, right? So I'll need to say d dot make values, and for values I'll do d dot revenue, right? Let's see, get chart data. I haven't set the chart type yet, but I'll do that in a bit. So the syntax for this, by the way, none over here. I think this none is for some other sections in a report. In a script report, you can have multiple types of sections. You can have a summary section. You can have you definitely have the table, but you can have a chart section. You can have a summary section, and stuff like that, right? So I don't know what this one is for, but I know that chart data is the fourth parameter in the whole thing. Have I returned the chart data?
Third one
I
is
have.
just report summary. One line you can return a string and it will show as a.
Okay, a summary. Okay. Um, let's see, but no, this is probably not enough, right? Nope. The data, it should be, yeah, labels, and then data sets, and I want my type to be, we use a pie chart.
Yeah, sure, works.
People object has no attribute. Make am I passing in? Oh, okay, maybe. I'm not sure if that should solve the problem. People indices must be okay. For D in data. What am I passing? Passing data over here.
I think name and values, right? I think
Yeah.
it should be like labeled should be the actual labels, like the list of labels. And
So the
then,
list of makes.
yeah, list of mix. And then the values, like the name won't go there, I think.
Okay.
And then datasets dot append. Okay, you are appending datasets.
But
Yeah,
pretty
that's
sure it works this way. Maybe, I don't know.
probably because I usually do it
But
that.
the error it's saying is that tuple object has no attribute make. So it's trying to read
Check the
dot
page
make.
console.
I'm sorry.
Try printing. Yeah, that can work.
Yeah.
This is a good time to show frappe.error print, by the way. Like frappe.err print. That's useful here.
So
Oh,
it's a tuple. Okay. Okay. That's the problem.
so we can fix it in two ways. Like when we are getting the data, right, we can pass as dict equal to true.
Yeah, but will that solve? I mean, it would solve this problem, but will it actually render it? Yeah, it should.
Let's find out.
Okay. Yeah, something's wrong in our labels over here.
So usually I refer in the docs and then check how it is being passed.
Okay. So docs,
Frappe charts is like a separate documentation site.
yeah.
So yeah, the first one should work, I guess. Yeah, that also works.
Yeah. Oh, where
In this
is
usage example, it is decent, I guess. Yeah.
name? Oh, okay. So
That is a
the
mixed
type,
one. That's fine. Labels, see the labels
yeah.
and then
So
data.
labels are this, right? So let's just go to aggregate charts. Oh, they don't have examples for that. Okay. Uh, so yeah, labels is a simple array, right? And then data sets. No, I think this was fine, maybe. I mean, where is it? Yeah. So, nope. Where is my
I think
documentation?
labels code was correct.
Labels was correct. Okay. Where is it? Nope.
Check console if there is an error.
Yeah.
Okay, there is
Nope.
no error. So, okay, let's.
Name values. I mean, usually I do it this way.
Oh, values should be, I
An
don't think.
array?
Yep. And then you don't have to iterate over. See, this is what I was worried about. So you are running a for loop, right? I don't think you need a for
Yeah.
loop. Values can be list comprehension because if we want multiple charts, then
Okay.
we then do this.
Got it. Got it. Got it. So data sets can be just data.
Uh, Data sets can be no. We have to process it. Like it needs to have values, so it will be a dictionary.
Yeah. I mean, so it
Dictionary.
will still be like values. I mean,
Yeah.
data.
Uh, D dot revenue, right? I'm not sure. This needs to be a list of revenue.
It needs to be a list of revenue. Oh, okay. So it needs to be like just a standard.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, got it. Okay. So
Yeah, you
then
can
we
write
can
list
just do,
comprehension on line 62. That works. Yeah, or this. Both work.
yeah.
Cool.
And then I can just put,
Exactly. Yeah, so I also make this mistakes so many times,
nope,
but
now the whole
usually,
thing is gone.
yeah, yeah.
So,
I think, let's see what's wrong. Check console.
but this time
We have
something else is wrong. Datasets.map, data.datasets. Okay, maybe just do this. Nope.
a lot of trial and error. Okay, I got it. So passing a data sets is a list. Yeah, just make
Okay.
it a list. Yeah, make it a list. Yeah. Okay, let's try now.
Okay,
Fine.
finally. Oof. Yeah,
It was a debugging session.
yeah, yeah. Again, this is, you'll have to refer to the documentation. What I do, and this is like a pro tip, I always use ERP Next as a reference, right? Because they have the most crazy kind of charts overall. So probably use that. Uh, yeah.
Yeah, code
And
is
then
the
we
best
can have,
documentation.
yeah. And then we can have, field type, currency. See, I saw that from ERP Next. Yeah, the currency thing is definitely broken in over here. Anyway, yeah, so we've covered charts, we've covered query builder. What else?
Yeah, I think we can take questions. Reports.
Yeah.
This pretty much gives like a lot of power in terms of reports.
Yeah.
So this is Python side. You can import different libraries. You can do data manipulation, right? Any processing and then return. Even access filters, right? As Nikhil showed. Cool.
So do we have questions?
So there is a question.
Is there any drill down option from chart to another detailed report? Nice question. You can do that, but you'll have to use jQuery for that. There is a possibility to do that. So you essentially want, let's say that you want to click on a particular element and then go to a particular report, right? Yeah, you can do that somehow. You'll have to figure that out via jQuery, but you'll
It's not
see that
easy, right?
it's not easy. It's not easy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So not possible in short.
Yeah.
Not out of the box, and it's tricky to do. So usually you will use some kind of BI tool if you want drill downs, etc. Um, this is
Oh no,
mostly
though, so they want, yeah, so what they want is they want to go, so they probably want to click on a chart element, right? And then go to a report, another report. So it's not a drill down, it's just a hyperlink.
Mhm. Oh, okay. Not actually a drill down. So you can make the make column link, right? So you can click on Honda and then there is
Yeah,
get formatter. By the way,
yeah,
in JavaScript side, you can manipulate these columns to become a link, and then you can do that.
yeah. You can do that on over here. You can also set the type as link and it will take you to that doc type as well. So that's also there. But if you want to do it via charts, you can do that. But honestly, we would just recommend Insights. Just use Insights for all of this.
Yeah, that's the new recommendation now. So there is one more.
Matplotlib and Seaborn. Yeah, you can Matplotlib. I mean, I know you can import NumPy and things like that, right? I don't know what Matplotlib itself
Mhm.
does, right?
Mhm.
But
So Matplotlib and Seaborn both generate charts, right? So out of the box, you
oh,
can just say that, okay, this chart render this instead of that. So they will give you images. Somehow you have to figure out how you will render them in front end using JavaScript. One.
Right.
So you
Yeah,
can't
for a
give it as the replacement of Frappe charts.
yeah, yeah. For a lot of those cases, I would rather make a custom page than try to fit it into reports.
Yeah. And I'll share a link to Frappe Insights because that's what nowadays we also use at Frappe to create visualizations and charts. Here. Cool. Yeah, I think we can take a break.
Cool.
Any questions? Uh, like one short note before we go to break. We are not covering like everything of framework. That is not at all possible. So we'll give you the base, all the core concepts. Once you are done with all the assignments, you'll have all the core concepts under your belt, but then you can explore more. I would suggest reading code base more often. If you are not able to figure something out, right? Check the docs if you find out it is fine. Otherwise, jump into the code. Don't fear code, and you will get
Yeah.
more comfortable. That's a tip. But yeah, Nikhil can share more. He has built like Raven recently, so you'll know how to go
Yeah.
about around like any hard problems you might face and not find documentation for
So
it.
so normally my go-to approach would be, so what I do is that I go into either Frappe's code base. So the three most complex apps in the Frappe ecosystem: Frappe, ERP Next, Frappe HR, right? Uh, these three usually have all the answers that you want. So if it's related to how do I run this complex query and things like that, ERP Next would probably have the answer for that because ERP Next runs a lot of complex queries. But if it's something more fundamental, like, okay, um, sometimes a lot of the documentation does not have the new things that have been added, right? So the best way to do that is go through the code. So I'll give an example. For Raven, we had to use a lot of socket events, right? And it wasn't, I mean, the documentation is fine for like regular socket events, maybe, right? But for the kind of real time events that we wanted to do, real time, yeah. So okay, yeah, we wanted to do pretty complex stuff, right? So not just real time on, but we wanted to channelize it, add permissions, etc. to it, right? So what I did was I looked at the function for real time, right? So you can look at the documentation for real time. So it says this is your Python API. Publish real time is the function that you have, right? So just search for def publish real time, right? And only search in Python files. You'll find an answer and you'll see how it works, right? So you'll see publish real time events, event, message, room, user, doc type. Now, I really didn't know what the room meant, right? But then I saw that there is a real time.py file, and this is what we actually import, right? Not this one, hopefully, right? So you can pass in the doc type and doc name, and then it would create a room specifically for that doc type. So any events that you publish, right, only go to those people who have subscribed to that particular doc type's events. So again, this is not documented, but it's very well documented over here, as you can see. It's just that you need to put in the effort to go into the code base and figure out everything. And again, these things keep changing very often, right? So, people will be pushing changes to the Frappe code base a lot. And so you also sort of need to keep a track of that. I usually listen to all of the pull requests that are there on the Frappe repository, just so that if something nice turns up, I know about it. So yeah.
Cool.
Oh, there's a video on real time in Socket. Is this your video or did you have
Yeah,
someone?
yeah. It's a very basic, like how to publish and how to listen and what is Socket.
Yeah,
That video. So you can,
nice.
again, if you have any doubts, we'll have a Q&A section and then you can ask there as
Yeah.
well. Cool. So let's take a break. We can be back by 12:15. And then we'll have some discussion on customization part of things. And we'll do a brief Q&A and then we can end. Anything in particular that you guys want to see, any topics that you think we should cover? Anyone? Any particular topics? Because we have like covered almost all of the things that like the basic stuff, basic concepts. But now if you want, we can go deeper into any one or two topics if you are uh, interested. Cool, let's take a break. You can think about it in 15 minutes of break and we'll discuss once you are back. Let's start back. Is everyone here? Let's start. Okay, we can start. Am I audible? Sometimes I am doubt. Okay. Anyone, can you confirm?
Yep, you're audible.
Okay, thanks. Uh,
Yes.
cool. Thanks for confirming. So yeah, let's start with the question that is in the chat. What are the possible customization approaches for the ERP Next without affecting the core? Never touch the core, right? Never. Because if you touch the core and you edit stuff, you won't be able to host on Frappe Cloud. That's just the beginning of the issues with editing the core. Most cases you won't be able to update easily, right? Because you will have your own code on top of it, which will have merge conflicts with the core. So usually you will use customization, right? Uh, there are custom fields, right, that you can add using the customized form. There are scripts that I will show you that you can add, right? Hooks.py file is the king of customizations. So you can hook into, okay, suppose you want to run some logic when sales invoice is submitted. You can do that using hooks.py file, your custom app, or using server scripts that we'll discuss, right? You can change your app icon. You can change your, what do you say, website homepage. That all is customizable, right? You can write client scripts. Suppose you want to add one button to sales invoice form. You can do that totally, even if that does not belong to your app, right? You can create your own reports that then use the execute method from other reports in ERP Next. That is possible too using custom reports. What else? Notifications we showed you, right? One more feature, there is auto email report. These all are like on customization layer. So that are also customization. So you, for any of this, whatever we covered, you don't have to touch the core of Frappe or ERP Next. Make sense? So for example, one hook that Nikhil showed was app include CSS or app include JavaScript. So you can inject your own JavaScript code. So you're not touching the code, but you can give the file to framework and framework will load it for you in the desk, right? Similarly, you want to customize the look and feel of it. Theme, apply a theme, right? So you can use app include CSS. Give your CSS file and it will do it. Right? It will load it in the desk. That is all is already there. So check out hooks.py file. There are custom fields. Then you can use the fixtures feature as well. Fixtures can be used to export your custom fields from your app. So let me just share my screen and we'll start the discussion on this customization versus the core part. Does that make clear that you don't have to touch the core? But yeah, so we were writing some code here, right? So in iCab, in driver, I guess we wrote this full name. Full name is first name plus last name. So you will ask this before save, like this file was there because the app is in our, the doc type is in our app, right? The driver doc type is in our app, but sales invoice is not there. Then you can easily go to hooks.py file, doc events, and you will say this Nikhil covered. So sales invoice, and you can say before save, write any method you want and give the dotted path, maybe iCap dot extends dot my sales invoice before save. So framework will run this before save as well. After running the before save of ERP Next, it will also call your before save. So this is one way to customize the logic. This is not recommended unless absolutely you need to override everything, because this will override the to-do class altogether, not just with method. So in most cases, you will be fine with using doc events. Second customization possibility is override whitelisted methods. So we covered the whitelisted methods, right? When we created this API.py file, we whitelisted this get many and were able to call it from the front end. So if any of the apps installed on the site are whitelisted, you can give the dotted path to that. Suppose some POS logic, right? ERP next dot POS dot get shipping cost. You want to override it, like replace it with your own shipping cost method. You can do that. Override dot get shipping cost. So just write a Python function, right? And give the path to the new function and the old one that you want to override. Just whitelist it, not everything. Cool. Similarly, we have dashboards. You can even hook into, what do you say, before request, after request. You can run your code when a new request comes in HTTP request, right? Permissions you can control from here. A lot of stuff can be done through hooks customization. And so let's start with customize form. So doc type, we are able to create a custom doc type. You know that, okay, it lives on the site. But what if I want to customize just this? So I gave vehicle to Irfan, right? And he want to add a new field just for his site, not in the app, just for his site. So he can go into customize form, right? Tell it which doc type he want to edit, vehicle, right? It's broken because probably I'm in developer mode. Yeah. So you can add your own fields here, right? Let's say one more field, my custom field, hit save, right? And if you go back, see, this is highlighted because it's a custom field. It is on the site, not it. This won't appear in your vehicle.json file. See, there is no my custom field here because this is just customization on the site. And if you want to export it, right? So whenever like your app is installed, this custom field also get created in sales invoice maybe. So you can, there is a custom field list, right? Behind the scene, Frappe went and created this custom field, and you can use fixtures to export this. Now makes sense. You're combining different hooks plus customization in order to customize. A very good example of a highly customized, like that leverages customizations in a very good way of ERP Next, like, and extends ERP Next is India Compliance app. India Compliance.
Yeah, just to add over here,
Yeah.
normally we shouldn't export. So I spoke to the creator of India Compliance
Mhm.
for this exact reason. So
Mhm.
he said that custom fields, make them system generated, right? So make them via your Python installation, or your Python code during installation or via patches, right? Don't do it from the export customizations options, right? So you created a custom field from the customized form and then you exported it. Don't
Yeah.
do it via fixtures. He said because then there is no order of resolution for it, right? And people cannot. So someone can actually delete the field if they want to, if it's a fixture.
Yeah, but like, yeah, and one more thing is, as you were mentioning, like when you migrate, the fixtures again take effect, and it might
Yeah,
lead to
then it will
unwanted
come back.
behavior. Yeah, then it will come back, but in the meantime, it is unwanted behavior. So this
Yeah,
is one of the ways. It's like quick and easy way to add custom fields if you are just using on the site, right? See, it
yeah.
went away for some reason, cache probably. But as Nikhil said, right, there is one more way. You can create custom fields on the fly using code. So probably they are somewhere. See, they are heavily using
Yeah,
doc.
so
Hmm.
go to install.py. Uh,
India
it's there,
compliance
it's there, it's right there. It was right there. Yeah.
install.py. Yeah. Post
Yeah.
install patch.
Now, yeah, so it's running all of these patches, right? Post install patches,
If
right?
HRMS, so the advanced hook that Nikhil was talking about, they're checking if HRMS is being
Yeah.
installed. And if it is, then they create custom fields for HRMS. So really good
Nice.
reference for hooks and customization.
Yeah.
And right way to do it.
This is the best approach to customization in the entire Frappe ecosystem, right? They've also customized the setup wizard because you might want to set up more things after the company
Yeah, in
setup.
the GST.
So they've also done that. Yeah.
So if on Frappe Cloud from India you sign up, right, for ERP Next, you will automatically get India compliance installed, and you won't even realize that the setup wizard was overridden by them to include fields, because Sagar also works closely with the framework team, so he knows what can go in the framework and be extendable, right? So he doesn't have to touch the
Yeah.
core.
And by the way, a lot of times what happens is that Sagar needs to add something, but there's no support in the framework, so he adds it to the framework itself.
Yeah.
Right. So I think the after app install was probably added by either Rucha or Sagar because they had a need for it. And this is also something that I would recommend, that if you have certain use cases, right, and if you're not able to figure it out, right, use the forum first, don't create issues, right, and try to actually contribute back to the core itself, because the core just gets better then.
See, there is a create custom fields
Yeah.
function, and then it just calls like this underscore. Okay, this create function.
Yeah, that's a standard.
Yeah, that's a standard function. So frappe.custom.custom field, import this, and it gives a list of custom fields. Like he's giving a list of custom fields to create, so he can manage it more reliably. As you saw, right, even the currency and etc. was not a fixture. So fixture is good for something like vehicle type that we did, but probably not good for
Yeah.
custom fields. It is a way, but I have seen people do it. But I don't think now that it is a like good way to do it. This is good. So they like do every setup here. Cool.
Yeah. The new methods of fixtures were used a lot earlier, right? But then we realized that, okay, so even in vehicle type, for example, right? So we added those 3 or 4 types, right? Now, if it's always going to be overridden, right, then why add it that way, right? Either, just created it during install then, because then the user cannot ever delete it. So if the user wants to delete SUV, they still cannot. So, I
Yeah,
mean,
you
until
can-
the next update, it will be deleted. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can like have some validation. That is one way to prevent. So in FC, we have this agent
Yeah.
job, etc. Right? Their fixture is fine because you never create from UI, you will never create a new one or edit, right? It
Yeah,
will be fixed.
that makes
So
sense.
fixture, right? It is
Yeah.
fixed. You are not touching it.
Yes.
In that case, it is good.
A good example is also party type in ERP Next.
Mhm.
So, like, party type can be employee, customer, supplier, shareholder, right? Only those 4.
Yeah.
So that's a fixture.
The
And you
one-
cannot add or create.
Even adding is fine. Like you shouldn't do editing.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, sorry, you can add, but you cannot edit and delete it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a good. So this is a good example if you want to check, like there is a lot of room for customization. You will see this pushes the boundary of it. It even includes a bundle JavaScript file, see more setup JavaScript file. It has some before migrate, before install, before uninstall, everything they are using. So cool. That is hooks.py file. And so suppose you build this app, shipped, and now you want to add some scripts, right? For that site. In that case, you can have server scripts. Then you can create server scripts. Let's say set full name. Maybe full name setting was not automatically there and you want to add it for driver. So driver, you can say
Or you
before.
might have added a custom field and want to do it for that field.
Yeah, probably. So you said set my custom full name. So you can combine this, right? Custom field, and then you say set my custom field. Or probably it is a whole custom doc type. In that case, you won't
Yeah.
get the PY file, right? So this is the way to do it. So self dot, here it will be doc.
Doc.
This is like same as self. So doc dot full name equal to A plus B, whatever. Like you can write your logic here. And this is restricted in the sense like you can't do everything that you can do in PY file. Right?
Yeah.
Due to security reasons, it is restricted, and I have created a like which I regularly
And
Mhm.
yeah, and if you're hosting on Frappe Cloud, I think server scripts is disabled by default because people usually write a lot of
On the shared
crazy
one.
things over here.
Like if you are on
Yeah, on the shared one.
if you are on the shared batch, it is default disabled. You can't get in enabled. If you own a private bench, you can do that. So let's
Yeah,
do one thing.
but it is also default disabled.
Yeah.
So you'll still have to go to site config and enable it.
Yeah, if you search for server script, the first thing in the server script documentation is how to enable it. So you can see that. So now, yeah, before save, it will set the full name to whatever you have done here. So let's try now. So let's create a new driver. Again, John is fine. To Nikhil this time. Save. So see, full name was. Did we disable the script? It is enabled. Or is it? Oh, we still have this logic, right? So let's remove that one. And now we can change it to hello. See, a dot dot, which is coming from our server script and not the py file. Similarly, we have other type of server scripts. So one more important one is scheduler event. So you can either schedule stuff using hooks.py file, right? You can tell, okay, monthly run this dotted path. Or you can directly come here, you can say, okay, monthly run this script. Maybe frappe dot send mail. Send a mail, prepare a report, you can get data here, frappe dot get all, so on and so forth. And then you can do send mail, right? So this is scheduler type of scheduler event type of server script. One more interesting one is, so if you have access to the app, you created this API file, you wrote your custom API endpoint, and then you were able to call it from the front end. But what if you have already deployed and just for that side, you want an API endpoint that returns some report data, right? In that case, you can create an API type script, say my endpoint, right? And then you can allow guest, right? This is same as doing allow guest equal true here, which means no auth will be required. And then you can read this documentation here on how to return a response. So you can say frappe.response.message. And this will be returned as the response of the request. So any user can make a request to /API/method/ this name, and then they can get the response as Pong. Make sense? So this is the custom counterpart of whitelisted API. Doc type event was the custom counterpart of controller file, like the controller this lifecycle hooks. And then permission query is the custom counterpart of in hooks.py file, we have a permission query per permission query condition. So you can either do it from here, right? So read about it. I'll recommend. If you return a SQL substring, you return a string like say status equal to new, something like that. So if you return this string from your query condition or here, this will be appended to the query that Frappe makes, right? to get the data from the backend while showing the list view, right? So like this, you can, since it is in the Python side, you can do a lot of C, you can check who is the user, you can check his roles and permissions. All of that is possible. So if role permission manager and the standard permissions don't suffice, you want to do something logically that, okay, only this type of users, or you have added a custom field and you want to check whether this checkbox is checked, then only allow, right? So that can be done using permission query. So we covered all four. Scheduler event is like cron. You can even do cron here. So you can say star. So we can do 3 star, 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 star. I think 4, something like that. So cron tab. Okay. So this is for complicated. So suppose you want to run something at 8 a.m. on Wednesday, right? So you can come and select cron and put the expression here. So this script, right? Whatever this script is. Okay, pass is not suffice. So now this will be called, like this script will run every Wednesday at 8 p.m. right? This in the case you don't like the default ones don't suit your needs. In that case, you can do cron. Yeah, this was server script. And you may ask if there is an alternate of customizing using PY file, like what is the custom counterpart of a JS file, right? Of this thing. There is something called client script. So server script run in the backend, Python side, server side, and client script run in the front end. So suppose add a button to do. So to do is not our doc type, right? So you can see the same boilerplate code got generated that we have in the JS file, and it has no restrictions because they both run in the front end, same environment in the user's browser. So there is no restriction like we have in server script. So you can say frm.add, same API is everything. Add custom button, right? My custom button, and you can say frappe.show alert button clicked. And you can enable this. And when you go to do, like, and create a new to do, my to do, hit save. And you will see my custom button, right, got added, and you can click it. And then you will see the alert. So these are all JavaScript APIs of Frappe that are available at your disposal. But yeah, this was like quickly you created a custom doc type. Quickly you can create server script, client scripts, and get a small app running without even touching your custom app. This whole 3 days we will doing custom app, right? But small things just on the site you can quickly do. And when do you create an app? When you want it to be reusable. It's a substantial app that might require external Python libraries, or it is like you want to share on marketplace so others can use it. In those cases, you build an app. If it's just a customization, like small feature, or that you just want to use on one site, this is fine. You can use client script, server script, plus customized form and custom doc types to do a lot of stuff. Cool. Cool. So yeah, even I doubted like server script should run after what do you say, our py file. So probably like we needed to restart the bench. I don't know why. Some cache issue. But yeah. But server script will I think, oh wait. What am I getting wrong here? So the question is whether this will take effect, right? Set full name. Let's say we set doc type event driver before save is fine, and cell doc dot full name equal to my custom full name, right? And then we also have the logic in py file. So this is before save. Okay, this has some issues. Yeah, before save. And now if we try to do that, let's create a new driver. DB. So DB, that means this took priority, right? Danny, why the question mark? I didn't get.
I got kicked out of the Zoom meeting. I don't know why,
Ah,
but it's okay now. Thanks.
no problem. Okay, I feel server script should override. Server script is run after class method, and if that was the case, it should have overridden our this thing.
Yeah, I
What if?
checked the code.
Mhm.
It did, I mean, so the code is first it's getting the method right from the class, then it's getting the hook, then
Hmm.
it's running notifications, then it's running webhook, then it's running server script for document.
Hmm.
So
See, even if I do
not
before
sure.
validate, even if I do before validate, it is still not running my like still not.
Yeah,
This does not take effect. Okay, wait. If I do after save, let's say, then I think,
no, then it should throw an error, right?
let's see. Oh, see. So
Hmm.
that's why we don't have an after save here. Like, don't usually use it because then anybody with the server script can come and say after save, right? So this will run, I think, before, after, before, after all before saves. I don't know if that makes sense, but this is the one. There is before rename, after rename, before submit, after submit, a lot of stuff. Cool. So this was server script. We also saw client script, right? So if you want to bundle something with your app, there is JS, doc type JS. You can even write scripts for list, right? So if you have a list view, let's say driver list, right? You can customize this using, you can add buttons here using client scripting. Cool. So this was like, and for permissions, we already know that there is a role permission manager, which is the custom part of it. So you can, the users can customize once you deployed the app as well. They can customize. They can say even if to do by default had this permissions, maybe I don't want everyone to do this, so I deleted it. And if I regret, I can restore original and it will come back. Cool. Yeah. Mm. yeah, the only part left is deployment, right? So for this, I have shared the video that you can watch. We briefly discussed what it is. Virtual doc types we'll discuss. And background jobs and patches, right? I have included them. They are like advanced features. We don't have time. So if you have specific, like you want us to cover them, we can take them in Q&A session. That's fine. But yeah, we already pushed it to GitHub. So let's deploy it on Frappe Cloud. Cool. So let's go to frappecloud.com. So what is Frappe Cloud? Frappe Cloud is a managed hosting solution. You can self-host, of course. You can self-host everything. Since everything is open source, any app that we build or like that is first party, you can self-host. Let's switch to my team. And this is the Frappe Cloud dashboard. Let's switch to the new dashboard. Yeah. So it will show you what all sites you have, right? You can create an account. It's a free account. Like account creation is free, but then you need some credits. Like you add credit card and you will get some free credits that you can use. But here you can see sites, benches. You can own like dedicated servers if you want to. Otherwise, these are shared benches, which means like these are shared benches and these are private benches, which means the server can have multiple benches, right? Your bench or any other customer's bench. And then server, if you want to own the complete VM, you can do that as well. Here you have billing and other settings. So what we'll do is we'll create a private bench because we want to host a custom app. In this sites, right? The public sites, you can only install marketplace apps. So let's go to benches. Let's create a new bench. You can select the version. We'll go with nightly, which is the develop branch, which is the latest, right? Usually expect a lot of bugs because very fast moving repository. Stable one you can pick, which is version 15. So maybe let's take stable. And you can choose the region where you want to. So choose the closest to your majority of the users. So we'll go with Mumbai, India. And then you can give it a title. So let's call it iCab bench. So in summary, it will show you, okay, version 15 region is this, that. Let's create bench. And then it shows that only Frappe framework is there, right? And it is awaiting deploy. So this bench is not deployed yet. It just created a template. So let's add app. And you can either choose from this lot of marketplace apps, right? You'll find Raven here as well. See, 189 of those. Or you can add from GitHub, your own custom apps. So we'll do add from GitHub. If it is public, you can directly give it the URL. So iCab, I think I can copy this URL, right? And fetch branches, right? So it will see if it is a valid Frappe app and will let you choose the branch you want to deploy. For us, it is only one branch, so let's do that. You can even connect your own GitHub account. So it can directly show you the list and then you can directly browse. That is one other way, right? You don't have to. So this feature is very useful when the repository is public, but not in your GitHub account. This is useful when, even if it is private, that will work. So iCab, and then let's choose a branch main and then add app. So it is adding app, added, done. And now I can deploy it. So we are deploying a bench, right? Now I will deploy a bench. So you can see Frappe framework version 15.9.1 and this and that. So let's select both the apps, skip and deploy. So now this is creating a bench behind the scenes, right? Earlier, what we created was a blueprint of how the bench will look like, what all apps will it have, right? So let's wait for it to deploy. You can see what all is happening behind the scenes. But as soon
by
as
the way,
Yeah.
yeah, if you want to self-host, I recommend against it because the amount of work that Frappe Cloud does behind the scenes, right? So just for reference, right, if you had to self-host this on a VM, let's say on a DigitalOcean or a AWS EC2, you wouldn't go the simple route, right? You would first you would basically first install all of the dependencies, right? Then install bench via pip, then install all of the apps, then create a site, then add a custom domain, then provision an SSL certificate, set up DNS multi-tenancy so that you are able to route traffic, right? Then set up a default routing from HTTP to HTTPS, right? After that is done, you go ahead into the site and start adding, configuring emails and all of that. There is a service on Frappe Cloud itself for email delivery as well, right? That does it for you automatically. So yeah, I mean, it's a lot. Just, even if you want to like self-host it, it just takes
You'll need
a lot of time.
dedicated
Yeah.
DevOps person. That's for sure.
Yeah, especially if you have multiple sites.
Yeah, multiple sites.
Yeah.
Yeah, here you
And
can.
pushing updates is just clicking a button here, right? But over there, you have to do a git fetch, then you do a bench update, right? And your site is down. By the way, over here, one of the very cool things is that when Frappe Cloud updates it, the site is never down, or at least it's down, but for like a second maybe, right? Because the bench is containerized, so it gets deployed, and then the site is not down till then because the older bench is still there. Even if your bench deployment fails, right, your site doesn't go down. In self-hosting, that doesn't happen. In self-hosting, your site goes down as soon as you start bench update. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it
I
goes into
mean,
maintenance mode.
yeah, I can't recommend it enough.
Yeah. So yeah, coming from you, it is. Otherwise, it would be total marketing. But yeah. So yeah, now bench is ready. We can create new site, and it will show you all the apps that are on the bench. So first, apps need to exist on the bench in order for you to use them in the site. So let's install iCap. That is fine. Let's select the region. You can select a plan. We'll go with Frappe team because, and subdomain. So as soon as you create a site, right, you get a HTTPS subdomain. So let's say iCap, okay, caps, okay. And then you can agree. Of course, I'll be charged $0. So create site, and let's see how fast it creates a site. So there are 2 jobs running. So jobs in progress, it means it is doing something in the backend to create the site. And earlier you used to refresh the page, but new dashboard, I guess it is good in real time. So let's see. So in the meantime, I can show you, you can add your custom domain here. So you can link a domain, maybe pool.com or whatever, and it will show you the records that you need to add in your DNS provider. That will just then we'll take care of, what do you say? See, site is active. You can visit your site, right? You can log in as administrator. So if you visit your site, icaps.frappe.cloud, it is live. And even you can, maybe if I go to login as administrator, reason setup, confirm. See, setup wizard, right? And to make sure that our app is there, our doc types are there, let me just create a user here. Let's complete setup. Battery is low, but fine. So we can go to doc type list and check. Indeed, we have the, what do you say? The doc types. And probably since we made the notification a standard one, that notification also got here, right? So whatever you made standard came here. That's it. So even role got created. See, fleet manager. Cool. So this was a bit of Frappe Cloud. You have analytics, right? You don't get this out of the box in any of the cloud providers. So because Frappe Cloud is built for Frappe apps, so do give it a try. We feel you will like it. And for production setup, it is good. So usually what people do is local, they have their local setup. And then they have some kind of staging. If they have a server somewhere, they run staging sites or for developers to test. And then production they have in Frappe Cloud. That is one way. Other way is I have seen people get one dedicated server altogether, right? They get a new server. So server isn't enabled even for me. So you need to have $200 worth of credits to enable feature, because server takes like it costs us, right? As soon as you spin up a server. So then you can create a server. It will give you a complete server, host as many sites as you want, like unless the server runs out of resources. So I've seen people use one dedicated server for all their devs. So if they have 6 developers, they buy one server, they can host their staging site, development, testing benches there. And that way the cost is low. In production, they use this $50 plan, I think is popular, getting popular now, because of one reason, I'll tell you. If you go to, let's say I want a Raven site, and I also want ERP next, and Frappe HR and India compliance, right? A total beast site now, because as soon as you include ERP next, you are, and maybe I want to host it in uh, UAE. And if you see the $50 plan, right?
It's above.
Where?
Right
It's,
there in the middle.
it's rupees.
Oh,
There is a
okay.
bug, probably bug.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, yeah.
50 rupees per month and then 132.26 per day.
Hey
So
man, if you're
the
offering
max,
it for 50 rupees a month, I'm signing up today.
that's an issue. But yeah. So you see, as soon as you move away from $25, you get support included. So this is product warranty by directly from Frappe. So you can raise bugs, etc., and we will support you. Again, there are some advanced features like database access, offset backups. So backups are important because migration fail and stuff happens, or you might corrupt some of your data. So offset backups basically will push your backup in some frequency to a server other than the server which it is running on. So usually, in our case, it is AWS S3. But yeah.
Yeah. And you can also configure a separate backup yourself by going into backup, S3 backup settings in Frappe. Like, so you can have like multiple levels of backups.
Yeah. And anytime you can come here and like if you go to actions, right? In the
That will be insights. Yeah.
there, right? Backup, and you can schedule a backup right now. So it will go take a backup, and if you see
Yeah.
jobs in progress, so it is taking a backup and done. If you refresh now, you'll see the backup was taken. You can download the backup files from here. You can anytime if you want to go back to this backup, you can create a new site, or even in this site, you can restore a backup. So you can go to actions, and then there is restore from backup. See, so you can upload those files and then you are back to the previous version. This was recently added major version upgrade, right? So if you want to update from 14 to 15, usually earlier it was not that straightforward. But yeah, so you can see your IP addresses if you want some whitelisting or something, right? What all updates, apps, site config, the site config.json file, remember, you can control it through UI. And then there are logs, activities, stats, and the UI is broken here, but fine. But yeah, this was Frappe Cloud. I have 2 apps published on Marketplace. Remember the whiteboard that I used on day 1, I guess, or day 2? That is also a Frappe app using the feature that Nikhil was talking about, custom pages. Let's see, whiteboard app. It's running in the desk. So yeah. Cool. I think that sums up. I haven't seen this app in quite some. Okay, 10 active sites with this. Nice. Weekly installs, 20 March 2 installs.
Yeah, that's a new chart that was added.
Yeah. That's a cool. Maybe I should make this a paid one. And you can view this in marketplace. So if you want to browse, okay, this got a new look. But yeah, as you can see, GST India, this is like India compliance, but uses some other backend for e-invoicing. And you
I
have
think
what?
it uses ClearTax.
Yeah, ClearTax.
Yeah.
And these guys use what is it? There is some service. Yeah. But yeah, you get the point. So you can publish your own custom apps that you built on marketplace. So if you build something generic, you think that other people can use, do share on marketplace. So with mobile. Oh, this is like mobile app integrations too. E-commerce. Okay, we also have e-commerce integration. Communication, I think Raven will come, and WhatsApp integration, Telegram, the email delivery service. Yeah, a lot of stuff. And my battery is low as well as we are out of time. So any questions on this? Yeah. So Nigam asked, I think Nikhil answered just a normal question. Frappe Cloud also built on Frappe framework, 100% open source. So you can spin up your own Frappe Cloud somewhere. And I have seen it. We recently went to Nairobi, Africa, and then there was this Dr. Tom Mogi. He did a presentation, and they have self-hosted Frappe Cloud. We didn't knew until we saw, and they have hosted like 20, I think 10, 20 sites, and they are also using Insights and leveraging all the Frappe ecosystem to run the one of the largest hospitals in Kenya.
Nice. How difficult it is to self-host Frappe Cloud?
It is hard. I won't lie. It is not that straightforward because docs are insufficient.
Yeah.
And like you need to read a lot of code. That's for one.
Hmm.
And so Aditya is working on it, and we have figured out like Saurabh even worked for. So we recently made one enterprise deal that you we will set up Frappe Cloud for you for a company, and they will do their own SaaS kind of thing, right? So
Right.
while doing that, we did a feature in Frappe Cloud that lets us set up Frappe Cloud from Frappe Cloud. So now that is there. So I think that will become easier. At least
Yeah, you guys like doing that inception thing, right? A doc type is also a doc type.
I was
Frappe
also
Cloud also on Frappe Cloud.
Frappe Cloud. You can create a Frappe Cloud custom from Frappe Cloud. That is possible right now. So if you check the PRs from Saurabh, right, you will find it somewhere. So there is just one doc type.
Nice.
You give it some IP addresses, and it just spins up a Frappe Cloud cluster. That is there.
Nice.
Cool. So yeah, Frappe framework app. The name of the app is Press. So you'll find doc types and everything there. Very complicated. 10,000 commits. It nearing 10,000 commits. Or it did
Wow.
already cross. No,
Yeah,
9,000.
9,700.
So yeah. So yeah, any other questions? Anyone will end this meeting in a minute. Again, like thank you very much, Nikhil, for collaborating on this particular training. And hopefully, like you will be running your own batches from now on. So do check out like Nikhil's their website, the Commit Company, Raven they have built, right? And yeah, you can, of course, you can integrate, connect third-party apps, and using REST API and webhooks, you can build good integrations. So if you want a head start on that, let me share a video, a talk from ERP Next conference, REST API Frappe. And I think, yeah, this one. This is a good one by very own Ankush. See this. you can get started. Like these are no code, low code features. So you can connect third party apps and nice. Anything you want to add, Nikhil, as the ending note?
Not really, I guess. I mean, we would like, more devs to build great apps, right? Put them on the marketplace. That we usually have, more ideas than time, right? So we can't possibly
Kill
make all
everything.
the apps.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, there's lots of, great ideas that we have, and we just don't get the time to do it. But we would really like, more apps to come up, right? What's the next step?
So yeah, complete like all the 4 assignments and then apply for evaluations. You have 2 months to do everything like assignments plus evaluation, scheduling the evaluation, and you will have the evaluation. And then once you pass the evaluation, you will get a certificate. Mostly Nikhil or me, one of us will take your evaluations. And nice. Thanks to Kavya as well. If she is here, she was also there in the chat helping out. So yeah, it was fun. I hope you guys also had fun and learned new stuff. Keep exploring. We'll stay connected in the chat channel. So don't worry. So we can plan a Q&A session next week probably. We can discuss in chat and finalize a date. But yeah, I think now you're ready to do the assignments and go for evaluation. Like the final assignment, that is an open-ended one. Will not send our exercise. What exercise? Like the assignments you have, there is a link to submit. You will submit and it will auto check. You have to submit the JSON files in one of them and then PY files in another. So all those are detailed in the, what do you say, the manual. Cool. I think we can wrap. If you have more questions, you can ask in the chat. Yeah, we'll share the recording, this recording as well. Cool. Bye bye, everyone. Thanks again, Nikhil. It was fun collaborating this time. I've been doing
Yeah.
this 8th time now. Or 9. 8th time.
Nice, I had fun.
Yeah, it was fun. Cool. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Okay. Nikhil, you have to end the call. Or did you?
Yeah, I'll end it.